Hello. Hi. It's me. Hey, here's my face. Let me know if you can hear me okay, or if it's too loud or whatever, or if there's too much background noise. I am outside at the moment, so this is the side of the porch behind me. Um, so yeah, you may hear some cars whizzing by, or you might hear some foxes running around in the bushes around it because I got trees all along there and all the way along there as well, and then there's a road going past. So if you hear a road go by, apologies in advance, or a car, sorry. But yeah, this is all new to me because I haven't done it in ages. I did do Twitch for a little while, like almost 2 years ago, and it was just me mucking about. But then I just couldn't be consistent with it, so I just gave it up. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I hope the camera's okay because I got as you can see, it's a real cheap one, right? It only cost me 20 quid, but to focus the lens, you have to actually twist the lens itself, and it's really fiddly. So it sounds good, great. So again, hello the Bard. As I said before, that is a cracking meal. Big Mac, Dan Skull, nice to see you again. Yes, I am a maniac, but you know, I thought if I'm going to do a test stream, I might as well make it worthwhile. Ian, good to see you. All right, Richard, nice to see you too. It's good to see you guys on the other side. You know, I'm not used to this, seeing you guys there. I'm usually at the other side with you lot. Anyway, also another note, you might see it wobble, you might hear some creaking because I'm on a fold out like picnic table thing, so it's because I can't get into my cupboard anymore. It's now turned into storage. I had to give it up. So anyway, owls sound like mogwis. Interesting. Right, so I hope you're all doing really well. I hope you had a good day. And now you're here to listen to my dulcet tones and the sound of the road. So let's crack on with it. So I'll just change this screen over here so you can see it a bit better. Ta-da! It's magic. And we're gonna crack through this issue because I did record it and then I lost the recording. So newbie error. So if you're all ready, let's get to it. So this is issue 11 of the Mortal Realms, and on the front we have the Sigmarite Mausoleum Part 1, Storm Hosts Part 3, and Using Terrain in Your Games. On the flip side, you have your index as always, and also a little intro here. It's not much really to get excited about, but it is what that is. And then we crack on with this. So Chamber and Conclaves. So this is a nice bit of artwork here, and it goes into some nice detail here about the main building blocks of the Stormcast's chambers and conclaves and stuff like that. So it says, just briefly, each of the Storm hosts is divided into several smaller organizations known as chambers. There are many types of chamber, from the large strike chambers, which might be up to hundreds of warriors, to the extremis chambers, which might only contain 30 of the Storm host's most elite warriors. I like the extremis chamber because that's the one with the big dragons. And I actually got one of those a few years back, and I haven't finished painting it. I actually just based it, and that was it. Alright, over here we have colours of Storm hosts, so there's a nice variation of paint schemes. I have to say though, I do like this one a lot, and the other one I like is where it's gold but it's got like just silver bits here and there. I really like that as well. Not much of a fan of that one. I think it's a bit too blue. And I'll hold it up so you can see it properly. There we go. Is that better? But yeah, you got the Hallowed Knights, Celestial Knights, the Fists of Sigmarite, Knights of the Aurora, and the Azerite Arbites. Each one's got a slightly different characteristic, depending on when they were forged and under what circumstances they were forged. Also, the type of spirits that they hold, because you got different types of heroes. You got selfless heroes, you got avenging heroes, and so on and so forth. So those characteristics are usually grouped together into a storm host, and they sort of, you know, end up sharing that sort of characteristics. Anyway, so let's move on. We have Stormcast Eternals, and we have 1,000 Storms. So right here, I like this bit. It's Sigma about to play Hammer Time on the God Beast over here, and ew, the nasty one. It's not nasty ones. What are you on about? You don't know anything, mate. Stick to your smelly Death Guard and your what was it? The iron, not Iron Fist, Imperial. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering like a big one. Stick with your Imperial Fisties, all right? Just and your smelly Death Guard. Anyway, let's get on with it. So, it's a nice little backstory here. So it goes through the Age of Myth. Age of Myth, a new era dawns, darkness creeps in, blah 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 blah, all that sort of stuff. But essentially, it's like, hey, look, here's Sigma. He's been saved by this space dragon. Space dragon shows him the mortal realms, and goes, hey, look, why don't you just hang out here for a bit? Sigma's like, cool. He goes on a little exploration of the realms. He finds his fellow deities from the world that was, though they weren't deities then. They were actually incarnates of certain winter magic that sort of elevated them into godhood. Made a pantheon with them, battled some god beasts, and cleared vast swathes of the mortal realms for civilizations to grow. And then they sort of rescued the souls of the humans and the elves and all that. So, hey, thank you very much. That is you, Spud, right? Because it just comes up with Chilean Wargamers, so I have to assume it's Spud. I don't think Elston would come on with that. But it's nice to see you, man. And then, what was it? Darkness creeps in. So this is all about, you know, like, it doesn't matter how amazing and pure you can make a civilization, there's always going to eventually be a bit of corruption or a little bit of kinky thoughts going on, and little nasty things going on in the background, and then it just develops and it escalates, and it slowly grows into this cancerous you know, part of society that turns into cults, and then eventually those cults get organized and turn into armies, and boom, before you know it, the chaos gods have got their eyes on the mortal realms, and they found a way in. And then, okay, so you got Day of the Demons. In 100 troubled regions, the demon of chaos find ways to break into the mortal realms. That's because, you know, they all got a little bit too kinky and started having orgies and bloodbaths and stuff like that. Story time with Hobby Cop Kev. That's the corner, that's a Kev. Yes, that is a corner, and that is a Kev. And actually, just for your benefit, Spud, I am actually in a corner on my porch. Oh yeah, because he's got the early starts, doesn't he? Yeah, he gets up at like 4 in the morning to start painting. But that's his routine. Right, the Battle of the Burning Skies. So this is where everything goes tits up. So Sigma and Nagash have been working together very nicely, building civilizations, blah blah blah. They put past transgressions behind them, but Nagash always gets greedy about souls and stuff like that. And instead of helping at the Battle of the Burning Skies, he goes, nah. And then Archaon smacks the sillies out of Sigma. And yeah, that's basically it, really. Everyone gets effed off. They all go their separate ways, and chaos rampages through the rest of the realms. So that's basically that. Boom, done. I didn't even need to read it. I already know it. The stone. Oh, is that why he's called Elston? Yeah, Elstone. The stone. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna quit that before I get too crazy about it. Right, now we have Forces of Death. So, if you guys think I'm going too fast, or you got any questions so far, just throw them up right now. I'm about to have a beer break. And then grab some salty nuts. Yeah. I won't get a strike for that, will I? It's bloody flying ants are everywhere, by the way. So if you see anything buzzing around, it's either going to be a moth, a mayfly, or bloody flying ant. Alright. Well, I mean, you never know. He could be Spanish. You know, he might be a second or third generation Spaniard settler. You never know. Alright, any other questions before I carry on? I'll give you a minute because I know there's a bit of a time delay. Alright then, let's crack in them. Okay, Forces of Death. Nagash, the great necromancer, has the power of a true god. He seeks to bind all of the mortal realms into an empire of grave, cold order and mindless obedience. At his side march vast legions of zombies, skeletons, as well as all manner of other terrifying undead creatures. Lovely. Again, a nice bit of artwork there. That was good. Why am I so sexy? I don't know. Maybe it's Maybelline. Alright, so it goes on into a little bit about the different types. So you got necromancers, baronites, you got the mortarks who run the show for Nagash. You got flesh eater courts and the night haunt as well, and then you got the Ossiarch bone reapers as well, which are really funky bone style stormcast. So you got really cool stuff. Hang on, right, sorry, I have to just turn the audio off for 1 second. Alright, sorry about that, I just had a quick word with the wife. I had to hand over the charger. Nothing serious. It's nuptial season for ants. Only know that because I got sucked in by the ants. Canada YouTube came up in recommended one day. Wow. Yeah, no, you got all the ladies and gents flying or crawling everywhere to find somewhere to hide up and shack up. Hey, Frost and Fists, how's it going, man? Thanks for joining us. Their amazing artwork on the City Discord done by a fellow called The Bunker. Yes, The Bunker does do some good artwork as well. So if you're not on the Chilling Wargamers Discord, then I think that I got it in the I'm not sure if I have got it in my descriptions. If I haven't, then hop over to the Chilling Wargamers YouTube and they will have the link there, and it's a great lot of people there. Alright, let's get cracking, shall we? So other side, right, let's have a look. So goes on about how each force is a particular has a particular function to it. So the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, they do like bone tithes, and a lot of them were buried under major cities which Nagash and Sigma built together. So he sort of was playing the long game there. And what they do, they come along and say, alright, we want about 20% of the bones in the entire of this civilization when we come back, and if you don't, we'll just kill you and take that tithe ourselves. and then they just slowly leach the bones out of the civilization until there's basically no one left, and that's kind of the big problem with them. So you can either try and fight them, and you'll probably lose, or you can appease them by giving the bones over, and that means, you know, having to kill your loved ones and children and all that sort of thing, or you know, you just face annihilation. So slow death or quick death, what do you do? Flesh eater courts are just a bunch of absolute nutters. They live in a delusion. They have a kind of hierarchy, sort of like a monarchy, and they think they're like, you know, barons and kings and queens and stuff like that. And yeah, it's a good laugh. And Games Workshop kind of very cheekily said that, yeah, you want Bretonians, there they are. So that's them. But I mean, they got a weird virus in them which makes them cannibalistic and just go weird, and they stick bones in their skin and everything. Very nice. And then of course you've got the Nighthorn, which is the biggest result of the Necroquake. All the spirits just exploded out of every crevice of every realm and just started going mad, and then Nagash thought, hey, let's weaponize that. So that is that. So they're sort of like your terror shock troops, essentially. They're pretty cool. Now we have Battle of Bone and Ash. Now I never read these little stories because I don't want to spoil them, but here's a nice little story here. The little blurb here is: across fields of black ash and rivers of molten lava, the undead march to war. Thankfully for the mortals of Akshi, the celestial vindicators stood ready to meet the skeletal horde in battle. So yeah, I call it bathroom reading because, you know, if you got 5-10 minutes on the bog, then, you know, just have a little read. It's just, you know, it takes up that time and stops you staring at your phone as well. But yeah, again, nice artwork as well. So I'll pop that down there. Now you have your how to build the Sigmarite Mausoleum. I've already built one of these before because I got the box where you got 2 lots of the set. And I ended up using one of these as part of the base for my zombie dragon that I kind of converted out of a high elf dragon, which I just tore the hell out of and sanded bits down and put green stuff and skulls all over. And then what's his name? What's that vampire called? God damn it. Not Vlad, not Conrad, the other one. Oh yeah, the dragsters are out. Sorry about that. Anyway, one of the vampire models from the Mortark's box, because I made Arcan the Black out of it, so I had Neferata and I had the vampire left, and I did the vampire. So I did the vampire on top of the dragon, but I haven't painted. Again, it's another thing that I've just put together for fun, and then I never got around to. Man, that's it, Manfred. That was F, not a TH, but yeah, you got it. Manfred von Carstein. I used him to be on the zombie dragon with a fancy base, and I never painted it, and I built that like 4 or 5 years ago. It's ridiculous. Like, I get sidelined so much, crazy, like I'm doing now. Anyway, so I got the how to build here. It's really simple to do. Bugger off, fucking flying ants. Sorry for the language. So yeah, it's really easy. And you know what? You don't even need to. I wouldn't glue the stuff to the base even after painting it, simply because you can double up on the amount of terrain you have. So you can have it stacked up with the walls all neat and boxed in like you've seen in the pictures, or you can spread it out as much as you like. And it gives you other options as well, because like you can just if you've got a hobby knife or if you've got a saw, you can just like hack off the side bits like that, and then maybe put bits of fencing on and stuff like that, like what they've done on the front here, which is essentially what they've done. They've just hacked the bases apart and then added like bits of fencing and the top bits of the fences and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you got plenty of flexibility with it if you're not worried about buggering it up too much. And so it'll look like that. Everything in red is coming in issue 15, I think it was. Or wait, what issue is it? Like, can someone correct that for me? Hang on. It's not in 12 or 13. Yeah, issue 15. Alright, so that's where they do the paint thing, but I mean it's really easy. You just paint it grey or paint it black and dry brush grey or whatever you want to do, really. Between Tomb and Terror is our little playthrough here. So you're getting used to playing around, and in it's not 13. Yeah, it's 15. Yeah, I said that. Thank you for your help, Spud. Right. So yeah, this is just going to be your 10 Nighthaunt chain rasps versus 3 castigators, and you're just fighting over the terrain a bit. You got your rules for using them as well. So where is it? Where they put the rules for it? I don't know where they put the rules for it. You got your things there. Burst of celestial energy. That's important when you roll 6s on the roll to hit. You do D3 hits. And flying. Nighthaunt are flying, which means that they're not affected by terrain, so they don't have to. You can't hear me. Sorry, man. I'm not even talking into the mic. How about that? There we go. So, burst of celestial energy. You shoot, like, roll a 6. You roll to hit on a roll of 6. You do a D3, and that's how many hits you end up with. The Nighthaunt, chain rasps, they got flying, which means that they don't have to climb up and over anything. Put your ear next to the speaker.
Well, like this. Is this better?
So yeah, they're not affected by terrain being in their way. They move as if it's not there. Oh, there you go. How to move over terrain. So you got to measure up, and then you go down as well. So in this example, it says it's 2 inches up and then it's 2 inches down. So that'll take 4 inches out of the model's movement, which it can only move 5. So unless you're right next to it, you can't really go that far. Or if you're running, then maybe you can. And then how to fly. So for the chain rasps, they just move through it like it's not even there. Easy peasy. So they go through the sequence of play, like so. And then you can just jam by mixing it up. So you can replace the castigators with sequitors, or you can replace the chain rasps with the Mindworn Banshees or the Glaive Stalkers. Personally, I'd throw all 5 of them together just to make the game a bit more interesting and a bit more worthwhile, because you've got so much space on the board. Anyway, back pages, you should already know this by now because I'm months behind, but issue 12, which is build and paint a Knight's Questor, and what does it say on here? Knight's Questor, the Hallowed Knight, Storm Host, and new rules to play through. And then issue 13, you get a paintbrush. It's a medium dry, which is very handy. And you got your base black and base Mechanicus standard grey, which you will use 2 issues from then to paint up the mausoleum. But it says discover the forces of order, paint your Sigmarite mausoleum, and new rules to play through. So that is that. So, I mean, that was a bit of a cock up here and there, but you know what? That's the whole point of a test, isn't it? Just to get those kinks out the way. So, what do you guys think about the issue 11? It's quite lore heavy, which is what I like. You know, so they make sure that it is worth your pennies. You don't feel like you're too hard done by, and yeah, the mausoleum models are really fun to put together, especially if you got a habit of converting stuff as well, because you can really go to town on them. You could just chop bits off if you want, like the fences and that. Just chop bits off and add them to your bases. It's what I used to do with back in the day when Eagle Moss did. Yeah, they are tricky. Eagle Moss did the old battle games in Middle Earth, and what I ended up doing was chopping up bits of the Minas Tirith terrain and adding it to the bases of the warriors of Minas Tirith and the archers and that, just to give them a bit more of a thematic feel, and it really looked cool. It just meant that the terrain had massive holes in the walls and corners missing and stuff like that, but it was still usable. And I like that series because it got you to experiment more with making your own terrain. You used card and filler and that all, balsa wood and stuff like that. And that was a fun bit of it. So too bad it's probably the last issue. Spud's completed it. Spud's completed everything. Spud completed Spud. Like the day he was born, right? The doctor picked him up, slapped him on the bum. He cried, and the doctor said, "Yep, he's completed it." It's on his birth certificate. Spud completed it. Last name. So you like the lore heavy issue 2? You just don't find AOS lore as enticing as 40k. It's because it's all still quite new. It's only been a few years. 40k is heavily established, and we're in a weird place where 40k came from Warhammer Fantasy. It was the sci-fi version of fantasy battles. You had elves in space, orcs in space, so on and so forth. But the problem with Age of Sigmar is it's taking a bit from Warhammer Fantasy, because it's kind of like part 2. But it's also taking a lot from what was popular and successful with Warhammer 40,000, and it's still trying to find its feet. But I have read a couple of novels, and they've been really quite good. And I don't know about you, but I've listened to the Gotrek audiobooks that they've done, the Realm Slayer, and man, Brian Best as Gotrek was perfect. Like that is the person I always thought should voice him, and he got him, and I was so happy. And the first time I heard it, I was like in the car on a little journey down to the coast, and I waited until the wife and kids were fast asleep, and then I just jammed it in the CD player, and I was so happy, just blaring that all the way down to Southend. What was it? The number is on birth certificate and everything. Yeah. The hashtag, sorry. Yeah. Spud hashtag completed it. Anyway, so you know what? That was quite fun. I didn't want to really leave it there. I might check back in a few years when it's more established. Yeah, I mean, like it took me a long time before I started reading Warhammer Fantasy books, and I did the Time of Legends, and I read all of the Gotrek and Felix stuff, and all of the Bretonnian and the Dwarf stuff, and the Vampire Wars as well. They were cracking books, but they were heavily based on well-established lore already, so that's why they had a lot of source material to draw upon to write those. So it is going to take a few years, especially because they are still fleshing out the different races, and they're trying to put their own spin on the races as well. They haven't finished. They're well far from finishing. I reckon there's at least one more dwarf faction that they're going to do. We still haven't seen what they're going to do with the wood elves, though we've seen a glimpse of it with Shadespire. Not Shadespire. The sequel to Shadespire, but you know, Warhammer Underworlds, where you got like the half deer, half elf stuff. So that, you know, that's kind of what they're going with the wood elves. So yeah, there's lots for them to do, especially with greenskins as well. I mean, they only just sort of fleshed out some of the goblins. They're definitely going to do something interesting with the spider riders and all that. I'm not sure if you got the Warhammer quest, the first one, Silver Tower, and it had the little goblins with 6 legs and 2 arms. You know, so they had 8 limbs altogether. So you never know. Beastgrave, that's it. Thank you. Shadow Elves in Warcry 2. Yeah, that's right. So the Dark Elves, or Elves as they call them. I don't think that the way you say it is any different. It's just the spelling is different. Phonetically, I think it's about the same as Elves. But yeah, they definitely got to flesh out that, and Malarion, which is the fusion of Malekith and his dragon in a weird fashion. I don't know. I'm still reading. I'm halfway through the last End Times book, the Archaon one. So it'll be interesting to see. I know how it all ends, but it's interesting to see how they get there. So I got time. Would you lot like me to go through another issue? Because where is it? Where are ya? Your teas. I do have issue 12 on standby. So if it's not too late for you lot and you're not too bored, I could go through that as well. I could always chop this up later on, put it as 2 different videos, whatever, but it's up to you guys. What do you think? I'm gonna have some more beer while I wait. Now, should I take the label off when I'm drinking on screen? Just for advertising rights or whatever? I have no idea. Who reads the terms of service, eh? Rich is on. Only 8 AM here, so I'm keen. Kaiju Shorts. Where are you, man? 8 AM. So you're 7 hours ahead. Are you in Aussie? Or are you in Japan? I'm going to call it a night, but I'll check back to see if you went for an hour. Alright, man. Thank you for joining me. You know, it's been great. Make sure you hit the like button, by the way. Like, subscribe, share if you can. Do all that jazz. Forgot to plug that. And if you're feeling saucy, then you can always donate. I've got Patreon and I've got PayPal. So go for that. It's always good. Ah, that's why I haven't set up Nightbot. Australia. Nice one, man. Alright, okay, Ian. You convinced me. Let's move the mic. Alright, I've got a mouthful of nuts. Hey. Right. Alright, smash it. Okay. We'll knock through this one, okay? So, Mortal Realms issue 12. Bum bum bum. Ah, sweet. Yeah, Frost and Fist are amazing. Big shout out to them. Amazing guys. Alright, so Night Questor, the Hallowed Night Storm host, and new rules to play through. What? Okay, so usual jazz. that can go over there. Night Questors. So Night Questors are warriors who have been assigned to a quest by Sigma himself. They must strike out alone to complete their task and seek out the destiny which has been chosen for them. Lovely bit of artwork here. Night Questors are single-minded. They go for their thing by any means necessary. Anything that gets in their way, dead. Any allies that they can, use to get there, they will do it. Basically, the ends justify the means. So they'll do whatever they can, however they can, with whoever they can, to get the job done. So that's why I made like a perfect character in Warhammer Quest. Right, on the other side, got a bit more on them as Agents of Sigmar. So the Mighty Warriors, yep, the quest retrieval. I've basically just said this, essentially. But this bit of artwork here, that's straight out of Warhammer Quest. And of course you've got two sentient demons just watching over the lone figure of the Night Quester. It says down here, Night Questers venture to the deadliest corners of the realms to complete their tasks. The minions of the Dark Gods seek to ensure their failure. Ooh. Bye-bye. So, yeah, they're tough. You don't want to mess with them. But yeah, no, they're a good laugh when they want to be. Let's just adjust this light because it's a bit glaring, isn't it? There we go. I should really turn the camera as well. Bye bye phone. Okay, that's a bit better. Right, got rid of the glare. Hooray! Alright, so Chronicles of Terror Part 2. Nice. Nagash returns to the realms with vengeance in mind. The forces of chaos scatter before the great necromancer's army. When his ultimate plan for revenge results in the necroquake, Nighthaunt arise in numbers never before seen. Armies of murderous geists attack the living in every realm. Dum dum dum. Yeah, they're nasty. So, conquering Shaish during the Age of Sigmar, Nagash's forces unleashed a terrible vengeance upon the followers of chaos, cleansing them from many of their strongholds in Shaish. Go away. Before the devastating necroquake, many mortal wizards were visited by terrifying visions of death, misery, and destruction. So yeah, the necroquake was a massive thing. Alright. It didn't go according to plan for Nagash, but he's never one to shirk an opportunity. Saw these ghosts knocking about. They're doing a pretty awesome job of terrifying and killing, and doing all the stuff that he thinks, what, I can use. And then he just goes, hey, come over here, let's all be friends. Skipped frames detected, 17% over last 2 minutes. Oh no, I've got this little alert down here. I need more RAM, man. I definitely need more RAM. I only got 8 gig in my system, but I've got another slot for another 8 gig. So if I get a few quid together, I could pop that in. That just speed things up a bit. Anyways, rabbiting on. I get distracted. This is why I normally do videos. I get so easily distracted. Alright, so the Age of Sigmar. Alright. Even Sigmar unleashes his Stormcast Eternals. A resurgent Nagash bursts forth from the Starless Gates. He summons a tempest of amethyst magic, raising his legions and launching hundreds of attacks to drive off the Chaos Invaders. So you got a little bit of bits here and there about Nagash actually kicking butt, and Sigmar sort of going, hey, you know what? Let's use this as an opportunity, and he does. And then of course you got Malign Portents here, which was the run up to the second edition of Age of Sigmar. Kind of like how Psychic Awakening was the run up to the Indomitus box and all that nonsense. And then, of course, the Necroquake. And then a Queen shall rise. So that's when he declares Lady Olinda as the Mortarch of Grief, just to run the show. Battlefield Shaiish, so Lady Olinda is just kicking butt against the Chaos Forces and subjugating any peoples that are still there who are willing to worship Nagash still. And Cloud Raiders, so Kharadron Overlords try to get their Aether gold from Shaiish, and they could just fly their ghosts, you know, they just fly up there and have at them. But before then, they didn't really have to worry too much. There's not that many things that are undead and fly. So this quake is what destroyed the Tomb Kings. No, the Tomb Kings, they were bound to the magic of the old world. So when that went, they went, essentially. I mean, you can say that Nagash became, you know, death magic. He became the avatar of death magic, so he could control what came and what went. And of course, he wasn't a fan of his fellow Tomb Kings. He was, or his Nehekarans, especially Cetra. Cetra was very peeved off with Nagash. So, yeah, why bring him back, eh? Though, I mean, it has been hinted, not outright said, but it has kind of been hinted that one of the Stormcasts is Cetra's soul reforged. So I can't remember what story that's in, but yeah, sort of snuck in the lore a little bit there. They found ways of keeping certain things alive without actually keeping them alive in the current lore. So you know, they're trying to do something different. But yeah, Tomb Kings are gone for good, mate. Sorry. So you got a brief alliance here where the Night Haunt were with the Flesh Eater Courts to fight the Chaos Forces, and then the Night Haunt just turned on them. After they were like, yeah, we don't like you either. It was an Archon in the Tomb Kings, yeah, but he was Nagash's lieutenant, essentially. He was like his right hand man. So he was actually bound to Nagash because Nagash had resurrected him before, and I think there was a little bit in one of the end time books where Arkan was kind of questioning whether his own thoughts were his thoughts and whether he was actually him, like his soul, because he knew his body was just recreated, but he always questioned if his soul was actually his original soul or just created by Nagash in the image of Arkan, you know. So yeah, but he runs the skeletal legions, so you know, nothing too different to what he used to do. You got the Briar Queen, who is in the cursed city of Shadespire. We've gone through that in a previous issue. Near disaster in Grun. So Lady Olinda got beaten. The last battle to cleanse Lyria of chaos almost results in Lady Olinda's defeat. Although victorious in the end, her near destruction at the hands of the greater demon of Khorne draws Nagash's disapproval. He both punishes and rewards his new Mortarch by forcing her to marry the craven king Kurdos Valentine. Sorry. That's the dude in the floating throne with the little trumpeters and stuff like that, which is so cool. So yeah, that's that. No, actually, that's not him. That's the silent chap, isn't it? Kurdos Valentine is on that weird flying horsey like thing with the candles on his head. Gotcha. Right, then of course you got the Soul Wars, so you know, And Nagash just goes, hey, look, I've got armies of ghosts. Now I want all the souls, even the Stormcasts, because they're mine. And then he just starts bashing up the Stormcasts for their souls. And then the Grimhaler. During the Nighthaunt attacks, none are more active than Raikonor. No. Oh, see, I am getting confused, aren't I? Valentian is the dude in the bloody throne. I forget what I said. What do I know? The Grimhaler is the chap on the flying thing. Alright, there we go. Get rid of that. Alright, Hallowed Knights. There we go. Hallowed Knights. If you ever heard any of the audiobooks with the Hallowed Knights in them, they're good fun. Only the faithful. That's pretty much all they say. But yeah, they're pretty awesome. So the Hallowed Knights are one of the most zealous of the Storm host. They consider the war against Chaos to be a sacred one, for which no sacrifice can be too great in pursuit of victory. Ooh. So yeah, essentially, their faith is what stops them getting corrupted by the power of Nurgle and all that sort of stuff. Apparently, but they are Stormcast after all, so they're tough anyway. There you go. Look, only the faithful is the war cry. The Chambers of Renown, Steel Souls, Chamber Resplendent, and the Gleaming Host. Specialities, the Warrior Chambers, because they like to get down and dirty. And then, of course, you got great heroes, so Gardas, Steel Soul, Cassandra Stormforge, and Taunus the Redeemed. So Taunus the Redeemed was an interesting character. We might find out a bit more about him later. And then Famed Stormkeeps, the Shining Citadel, and Fort Stillspur. Right, reforging. In the minds of the Hallowed Knights, being reforged is a great honour, and each rebirth brings them closer to the God King. Those who have been reforged many times in Sigma's service might have a storm cloud halo, or even emit holy light from the seams of their armour as the inner radiance leaks from within. Now that's quite interesting because what will happen, we don't know what will happen if they become reforged too many times, because some of them are starting to go a bit crazy. They're losing their self every time that they're being reforged, and they're just becoming like more vengeful killing machines than anything else. So let's see where that lore goes, eh? And then service in Gyran, so they did a lot of work in the realm of Gyran, and especially with the Sylvaneth. They teamed up with them a lot to kick butt. And then got a bit here on the heraldry, so it's silver with a bit of gold trim, blue on the shields and shoulders, and yeah, it's the same because they're from the first striking. They have that hammer with the lightning bolts on them. So that's them essentially. Boom, done. Into the Labyrinth. Okay, so this is this issue's little story, and I don't want to. Again, I just don't want to spoil these stories, and plus it'd be boring me just reading you a story. But the bit here is Wylan Lightbringer, Nightquester Lightbringer's quests take him into the heart of a silver tower. These magical fortresses are created by the chaos god Zinch, or Zinch. Yeah, it depends how you want to say it. There can only be 9 silver towers at any one time, and each is ruled over by a cruel demon sorcerer known as a Gaunt Summoner. Ooh. He's a really funky looking chap. Right. So again, if you haven't played the Warhammer Quest Silver Tower box, if you can get a copy, it's good fun. But you get these Kyric acolytes, which are human servants of Zinch, and they're rewarded they hope to be rewarded with knowledge. And you can see like there's some weirdness going on with under the masks, and their feet are starting to go a bit funny. Then you got Zangors, which are bird-like beastmen who serve the Chaos God Change, and they're really tough actually. They put out a lot of damage. And then of course you got pink horrors, which are really nasty. They throw like warp fire, and then they if you kill one, it splits into 2 blue horrors, and then if you kill the blue horrors, they split into more little, what are they called? Fire brimstone horrors. That's it. And then of course you got your little chaos familiars, which are also fun to paint up and that. All right, and he shared my video. Thank you, dude. If you're watching this back, Big Mac Dan Skull, thanks for sharing my video. So that's that. Sorry I didn't see the alert before. Right, now we got a how to build. I have covered this in a video. I actually featured this in my fix video. If you haven't seen that already, check it out if you've got the time, where I show you how to make the most of breaks, accidental or on purpose, and doing conversions or pinning and stuff like that. But yeah, it is quite a straightforward model to put together. Can't really get lost on it, and it fits really well together. Out of all of the models that we put together so far, this by far is the smoothest one. So yeah, and as I always, I like how they say use a bit of blue tack on the base. If you can't see that, it's right there. So what you can do is just put the tiniest little drop of super glue on the edge of one of the feet. It's enough to hold it on the base, but you could just snap it off. So yeah, that's a good model with a good guide. And then of course you got your building, you got your painting bit as well, which I have covered in a video, which I desperately should have done by now. I mean, I've got all the footage in that, but I'm trying to finish off editing the Plague Surgeon from Conquest, because I've done that. I've got the footage for that, but I haven't edited it. So anyway, this is all good as well. Yeah, you can get blue tack from all good Games Workshop stores or anywhere that stocks Citadel goods. So yeah, it is really quick and easy to paint it up. So just follow the guide. Don't forget the underneath bit, but this is why you got it on blue tack, so you can paint underneath. Alright, at the robes, it's very tricky. And then you got Clash of Heroes, so this is a fun one. So using Zandria Azure Bolt, the Night Quester, the Briar Queen, and the Tomb Banshee, you go to town. So you're throwing magic at each other. The Briar Queen has a shooting attack, so that's fun. You got your magic from Zandria Azure Bolt. Briar Queen can dispel it, but that's that. Hey, Modelling for Advantage, how's it going? Thanks for joining. How you doing? And then of course you got the Tomb Banshee, which can put out quite a bit of damage. So whether or not these will match up well, who knows? I'll have to play through myself. But yeah, it's a quick bit of fun. Of course you got all the updated War Scrolls here as well. And even the little special rules as well, all down here, nice and clear, so you can't get confused there. And they just walk you through it again, so it's always nice. And these little examples down here really sort of clear up any things that you might get confused about, which is, a massive help as well. Sweet. And there's a bit on mortal wounds as well. And that's that really. There's no additional forces bit because of course you only have those 4 heroes, and it's just good fun to play. So if you are playing with someone else, change sides, get a good feel for it. If you're feeling really funky, you could have 1 hero from each side on your side. So you could have Sandra, Shawbolt, and the Banshee, the Toon Banshee, on one team, and the other 2 on the other side. Yeah, that's a bit fruity, isn't it? Anyway, on the back of here, so we already know what comes in issue 13. And issue 14, some really nice Dreadblade Harrows. And it says, Dreadblade Harrows, discover the forces of chaos and new rules to play through. These are very nice. The problem is though, hey, how's it going, Bazza? Nice of you to join in. So as I was saying, the only issue with these is that you only have the 2 poses. So I mean, you're not really supposed to have a lot of them in your army, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference. But it's a bit inflexible really, especially because they are quite easy to build. But I've seen some people actually use these for conversions on the for 40k for the Mechanicus, and they look really good. Won't be long. Work at 6. That's fine, man. I'm almost finished actually. You've missed about an hour and 5 minutes of me waffling over 2 issues and about just Age of Sigma lore, just waffling away as I do best. I normally have to edit it all out, so anyway, where's my face? Here we go. Alright, so that is it. That is both issues 11 and 12. So yeah, what do you think about that issue? Again, this one is jam-packed full of lore as well. Yeah, so do I. I always miss the live videos, but that's why you can watch them again. So I'll be looking forward to you watching the whole of the video, giving it a like and a share and a message later on as well. But anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, what do you guys think of Night Questers? I mean, they're just like lone cowboys essentially, aren't they? But with a sword and board. But yeah, no, really nice bit of lore in there as well, and the story in there is really interesting as well. And then of course the playthrough, the Clash of Heroes, that's really good fun. Bugger off, flying ants. So I think that's it really. They are cool. They're very cool, and it's really easy to convert as well. All you got to do is just cut off the either the wrist, so that you can put, well, not that side, but it'll be this side. You cut off just at the wrist, and then you can put the hand of holding something else there, and that's a lot easier to pin as well, because you can pin into the back of the hand and into the rest of the arm. Or you can just cut off the sword right at the hilt, and then the bottom half of the hammer, the bottom half of the handle, and you can do like a staff or a pole arm or whatever. Yeah, he said he was looking forward to converting them. That shield will be on an orc faster than you can say, essentially. Well, you know what? It's a little preview. So let me just this is the result. He's off the base at the moment because I just finished painting that, but stupid fecking camera. Anyway, but what I did was I really chopped it up, and I really cut it up so like the dents in the sword. Half the shield is missing as well, I took inspiration from the cover of oh, not the cover, the poster that you get with the series. And of course I can't make him look like that because I haven't got a bare head. Or helmetless, sorry, not bare head. A helmetless Stormcast face, but I thought, you know what, why not? So after Shield's missing, so he's gone on for a very long quest. He's got gouges in his shoulder pads and across the chest. He's got a gouge across the face. So and you know, like I've sort of torn up the edges of the cloak as well to make it look like a bit tattered and that. But yeah, because I already had one of these and already painted it up, looking all nice and fresh, and I actually painted the detail of, like, you know, the battle damage on. I thought this time I'm actually going to just dig into it and do real battle damage. No, not fully reposed. The shield is slightly turned. Normally the head is facing the other way, but I've faced it that way, and the sword is turned around because it snapped off, so I had to pin it and then put it back on, but I thought I'd just twist it around because I kind of liked it in that direction better. So not fully reposed, but enough to make it look like he's sort of hunkered over a bit. He's had a long quest and he's kind of just like, oh, you know, F my life. For the glory of Sigma, but seriously, fuck my life. So yeah, I will get a video out there soon. Before I go though, I've got some news. I am going to be... Oh, let me just change this up. Gotta get used to this one. Yeah, that's the pinned one. So yeah, I have got a build and paint guide coming out soon for that chap. But the reason why I'm doing this live stream test mostly is just because from tomorrow night until next Saturday, when the Indomitus box is released, from 9 PM for a couple of hours, I don't know, I might run into midnight depending on how popular it gets, I want to do a conquest catch up. So the theme is Road to Indomitus. I don't know if you've seen the little poster that I've popped up on Instagram. If not on my Instagram, why not? I have such awesome pictures on there. And you know, you get to see more of this. But yeah, I'm essentially going to be building and painting the entire Space Marine half, and if I have time, I'll even do the Silver Templars, and I'll even try and cram in the Death Guard. It's going to be tough, especially if it's only like 3 hours a night for a week. That's going to be really tough to get all of that done. But I'm going to try and use all the shortcuts I can, while, and this is where the real challenge is, while following the guides in the magazines. Yep, that's right. So, because I know I fell real far behind with Conquest, because I kept getting sick over winter, because, you know, the kids kept getting sick, which meant I would get sick. And then I kept having space issues, and then editing the videos just took so much time. And that's, you know, filming it is a pain in the butt as it is. So I'm going to get it done and out the way, so that way you'll have all the build guides together, you'll have all the paint guides done, and that way we'll have a nice collection. And I want you guys, if you got any of your Conquest stuff left over, I want you guys to join me. So whatever you have, we'll build it, we'll paint it together, we'll have a good chat, we'll have a laugh, and we'll get through it together. This is going to be a support group for Conquest. You know what? Instead of naming it Road to Indomitus, I should have called it the Conquest Support Group. Conquest Anonymous. Never mind. All right, so yeah, if you guys and gals are on board with that, then yeah, I'd love to see you lot. And of course, I will be doing my best to not go over the live streams of the Chilling Wargamers. So on the nights that they are live streaming, I might start a little bit later, just because we work alongside each other. They're cool lads, and I don't wanna creep on their stuff. But we're looking to maybe even work around each other on the release day as well, because I got my box pre-ordered. My collection time is 9 in the morning. I'm looking to try and get rid of the wife and kids for the day, so that I got a bit of peace and quiet, so you don't hear kids screaming at each other and my wife screaming at them and then me screaming at all of them and they all screaming at me. So yeah, and the guys Elston and I don't know Spud it will be, but Elston and Pickle definitely will be doing their little build, and opening the box and stuff like that on the day. I think around noon, GMT that is. So if you want to catch them, that would be great. I might start after them and then just like knock it all out in the whole day. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, as I always said, look, if you can see it already, I've got all my social media details at the bottom there. You're gonna start doing the shirt after the share. Yes, it's going to be the share after the share. The share after the share. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, if I get back in time and I can get set up, I might even do the show before the show, and then do the show after the show. Yeah. That way I'll be the show before the show and the show after the show. Have that. Yeah. Anyway, I think I've waffled on long enough, don't you? Alright, it's coming up to 12, so I better get some shut-eye because, again, a long day with little kids. And of course, I'll have to get to work as well. So, yeah, I know, wow. So, if you guys are up for that, then share all the social media, share it everywhere. Go on my Instagram. The details are scrolling at the bottom for my Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Look out for the notifications and a hobby corner sandwich. That's right. Ooh, that sounds a bit too explicit, I think. Maybe get Pickle to record the soundbite for you. Yeah. Yeah. It's like every now and then I'll just play show before the show, show after the show. Welcome to the show before the show and the show after the show. Pickle and Elston said earlier they're gonna try and time. They're gonna post live. Yeah, definitely. So we're gonna work it out so the guys can have a bit of fun, and you can listen to my dulcet tones. Oh yeah. Right, so I've been saying that I'm going to go for the last 15 minutes. I really should. Thank you so much for joining me. I mean, at one point I had 10 viewers. I mean, really? 10 people watching this? Wow. Thank you so much for your support. Again, keep your eyes out for any of the promotion and just share it out to everyone you know, all your groups that you're in. Build up that hype. Road to Indomitus 2020. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me and your support, and yeah, I'll see you in the next live stream, hopefully tomorrow if nothing bad happens. So peace. Yeah. Yes, I'm still fiddling with it. There we go. I fixed it. Anyway, bye, 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 bye.